Man, one thing I was super excited about too is the sleep genes.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
through those and then wrap it up. I mean, I just want to let me bring up that pain sensitivity gene too, the
Yeah,
one in
I
the
saw that I
pain
have that.
tolerance.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically, you have real low pain sensitivity, so you don't feel pain the same way most people do.
That makes a lot of sense in my life.
Yeah, and that's not super common. I mean, the risk for that is, you go for a run or something, and at 2 months, you don't feel pain, and then blow your knee out completely, right?
Right, right.
Whereas like people on the other end of the extreme that have the other version of these genes, they feel pain super acutely and really strong, and they're real sensitive to pain, and then they wimp out way before they should, right?
Yes.
And for those
Yeah.
people, you say, well, you got to work through the pain, you got to just suffer a little bit. But for you, you don't want to do that. You got to be cautious, and that actually tells me too, like if you feel pain in your gut, then you really have a lot of gut issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really interesting in my personal life. I mean, I think I actually thought I was like some kind of masochist or something because I'm like, I'm super drawn to just like punishing my body. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like I've
Yeah.
always been that way.
Yeah. So I didn't want to just like gloss over that because I don't explain that one in the report that you've got. I only
Hmm.
kind of explain it when we go through it. But sleep genes, I mean, to be honest, you have pretty good sleep genes. You are pretty sensitive to blue light, if you'll notice in that category.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus plus, and that's the only plus plus you have. So the other ones are a little more optional and like hit or miss in terms of whether you can predict. But there's some supplement ideas like melatonin, like period circadian regulator gene (PER).
Hmm.
That's considered like the pacemaker for your brain.
Okay.
Um, so like basically in terms of your sleep cycles, you potentially have delayed sleep cycles. I don't know. Do you track it with Aura?
I do. Yeah. So I
And do you
track it.
get like do you get at least an hour of deep, or do you struggle with deep
Always,
sleep?
always at least an hour. And
Okay,
that's
good.
something that I've been really trying to be a biohacker about. Like actually Dave Asprey talks a lot about this where he's
Yeah.
like, I can sleep 6 hours and I've gotten it to where my deep sleep is 30%. And I'm like, what? That's
Oh,
insane.
yeah. Those peptide, deep sleep inducing peptide is probably the best way to, if you're going to go that extreme.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you do have that gene, so it is tougher. Like my wife, man, she'll get 3 hours of deep sleep, like virtually no matter what. She'll wake up with the kids and still crank out
What?
3 hours.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So like some people are just gifted in terms of, getting that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do anything to biohack. I think the biggest one for me was eating. Like if I eat in the evening, if I have a snack in the evening, it totally ruins my deep sleep. And
Oh, well.
that's so fundamental, but it's so overlooked by most people. They're like, "Oh, I have sleep issues." Like, well, do you eat after 6 p.m.? It's like, "Oh yeah, every night."
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
well,
The biggest
let's
drivers
start
that I've
there.
seen in terms of deep sleep, which one that's very well known is alcohol.
Yep.
And two, I just did this as, again, I experiment with all sorts of crazy shit all the time. So I just got an actual THC vape pen. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to try this. So I just got stoned a couple nights, and every
Yeah.
single time I did that, deep sleep
It's
dead.
gone.
Like
Yep.
no deep sleep. I could not, it was the
Yep.
biggest marker mover I've ever seen.
Yep. Yep. 100%. I'm not surprised at all. In fact, let me just scroll up and look at your cannabis section if you don't mind. I
Sure.
mean, I
Well,
thought
and
you
I
may have.
say that too because I know so many people that claim they smoke weed before bed because it helps them sleep. And I'm like, I don't think
Yeah.
it might help you fall asleep.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it varies a little bit, different people. I mean, you don't have any like extreme paranoia genes or anything with cannabis.
Which
I
genes
mean,
are those?
well, there's a gene called AKT,
Okay.
and you could, some people have the bad version of that gene, and they almost always hate cannabis because it gives them
Mm-hmm.
extreme paranoia, uncomfortable paranoia. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody gets a little bit if you get really high, but it's like the point where it's it's just not even enjoyable.
Yeah, people end up like calling the police on themselves and stuff. Like, help me, I'm
Exactly.
dying.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. No, but I mean, sometimes melatonin actually will mess up your deep sleep as well. So just be aware. But you should try it just as a biohack
So
and
that
see
I've
how you
tested
have.
pretty significantly, and I've
Yeah,
tried things like Doc Parsley's sleep remedy.
yep. Which
And
has vitamin D, by the way,
oh yeah,
which lowers your melatonin. But yeah,
yeah, which is interesting because I've done Doc Parsley's quite a bit, and it's never improved my deep sleep.
yeah, yeah. What
So
about melatonin straight? Have you tried that?
I have, yeah, but I need to check. I usually do the on it spray.
Okay.
And I don't see like astronomically higher deep sleep levels, but I really only mess with the pure melatonin when I'm traveling. So it's not like I need to mess with that at home in my sleep environment and see what the deep sleep does.
Yeah, I'd be curious because, I mean, again, you have a plus minus where melatonin usually is beneficial, but for some people it's the opposite. And that's always interesting. I think the blue light is probably the biggest one for you just to be cautious with. You could try lithium because of that clock gene. They've done studies showing lithium improves people's sleep when they have that bad version of that gene.
Okay.
And again, that's super low dose. You don't want to go into like the schizophrenia doses type of thing. Yeah. And be careful with that lithium orotate. That's most people when they take lithium, they take a lithium orotate. And when lithium breaks free of orotate, it releases something called orotic acid, OROTIC, orotic. Mm-hmm. And orotic acid is literally used in animals as like a liver cancer model to like basically give the animals liver cancer.
Wow. You know?
Yeah. It's not even that high of a dose. It doesn't take like it's a terrible idea like the reason they kind of tout it. A lot of people are buying magnesium orotate now, which I'm appalled with because that one also, it's going to release free orotic acid, and that's really nasty stuff.
Okay.
And the reason they do that is because there's studies showing that there's like if you're completely deficient in magnesium or lithium or any other mineral, and then you take lithium aspartate or magnesium aspartate or citrate or malate or whatever, it gets into your brain, but it's not super fast, But then if you take magnesium orotate, right, or lithium orotate or whatever, it gets into your brain a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, yeah, it gets into your brain super fast. So like, that's better form. So let's go with that. So all these biohackers are big fans because they see that study or those studies. And the problem is if you're totally deficient, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just consistent about taking it all the time, right, then your levels are already good and your brain's already getting plenty. And then it doesn't make any difference, So why increase your risk for cancer substantially? Anyways, that's just a little, but we should probably wrap it up because my wife is coming in.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I guess one thing I wanted to say just in terms of like the actionable steps. So when we talk about these genes, are we talking about like, you want to get down 95% of your health is like the not smoking, eating a species appropriate, probably some form of ancestral diet, high quality sleep, some exercise, removing toxic products from your environment, right? These things are going to be the biggest return on investment. And then it seems like this genetic stuff is the last few percent of optimization.
In some cases, yeah. Although sometimes, like say, for people that have extreme genes, it's pretty massive,
Okay.
But yeah, exactly. If you've got good genes like you've got,
right.
It's a 5% difference or whatever. But some people, man, it's tricky because like that liver example at the beginning, right? Like you got risk for high iron, you've got a risk for low retinol, so you need to take retinol, and the best way to do that is usually liver. And then you got this tenfold risk for heart disease because your iron is too high. There's all these intricacies that if the stars align, it can be a real problem, and it can be a massive boost to know your genetics. And then some people it's minor, but I still think it's valuable.
Oh, it's so valuable. Even the little stuff, like someone who suffers from anxiety might not know that they have a caffeine sensitivity related to anxiety. That's super freeing,
Right. I think so too. Yeah.
So the best way for them, I recommend everybody go directly to you, and that would just be the ajconsultingcompany.com, right? And they'd need their 23andMe raw data.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I've got coaches now too, which are a lot more affordable for people.
Sure.
Because I was getting my wait list was multiple months, like 2 or 3 months. And I kept having to move the price up, and I don't like to do that because I like to be able to talk to normal people, not just pro athletes or whatever.
Right.
I've done MMA fighters. I've done all kinds of interesting people that are active in NFL and MLB and all this. But like I say, I want to be able to reach people that need that, like that have health issues, and that's the solution I have now.
Maybe I'll come do your training, dude. That's what I need to do. I need to become a coach.
Get a coach. Yeah, get the guy. Exactly.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Thank you for looking at all my data, and we'll put all your links and everything in the show notes so people can get in touch and hopefully work with you.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.